These costs, as we all know, will eventually be passed on to the public. Us, me, you, Mr. Stringer. Carers, tradespeople, health workers and others will be prevented from working by these punitive charges. In London's suburbs, this will be catastrophic for the economy, as workers like this from Essex, Kent, Surrey, Sussex, Buckinghamshire, Berkshire will simply not be able to work in the suburbs. Every county surrounding London will be significantly affected, and for the worse. I have spoken with shop workers who have said if these charges are coming where they work, they may have no choice but to find alternative employment. So not only will businesses suffer because of decreased footfall, they will suffer trying to find members of the staff to help run their businesses. These issues have been debated in this House before. The Honourable Member from Calsutton and Wellington stated that if we price people out of their vehicles without potential alternatives available, we will not just be hitting people's pockets by charging them to use private vehicles, we could be costing them their livelihoods. The Honourable Member is correct. I have also mentioned in the Chamber before the concept of 15-minute cities, and I have to say when I see all these cameras being installed, is this the end goal for Labour-run authorities? The question does need to be asked. As you can see, there is much opposition. Nobody disputes that we all want cleaner air. The question is, are clean air zones and ultra-low emission zones the way to achieve this? I personally think not. In tourist hotspots where visitors come from all over the world to spend money, an American or Chinese tourist will not be put off central London because of ULEZ. But even then, it still hurts everyone who works in the city who needs a vehicle. I know some will still argue that maybe in very central London it was needed. But what of places like Sheffield and Doncaster and the thousands of other towns and villages? Is it needed there? Where the economy is built on servicing the needs of local people? I think not.
I'm grateful he's making an excellent intervention. Can I just draw him back to the fact that we was talking about road charging, of course, and the problem right now in the outer boroughs of London, where the ULEZ charge is about apparently to be applied, is that this is coming in under the idea it will clean up the air. Yet Transport for London made it very clear in the report it would have negligible effect. So what about being honest to say this is actually about raising revenue and let the electorate decide on that as well? Does he not agree with me?
I think the Right Honourable Member makes an important point, and there's obviously an awful lot of people agreeing in the room, members agreeing in the room. I think, sadly in South Yorkshire... No apologies required. No. Sadly, in South Yorkshire, we have lost an airport due to the lack of political support from an overzealous green agenda. We are losing our city's businesses due to pedestrianisation, and we are losing footfall from terminating buses in one place instead of allowing people to use stops across the city. We are losing our market for the same reason, yet we do have a wonderful new council officers whose staff could bring much business to the town, but sadly, most of them seem to be working from home. Why? Because the elected leaders do, and that's the reason why. They set a poor example. So this again is killing footfall. Doncaster was at one point a tourist attraction. Hundreds of thousands of people used to come to our market. The market is still there, but under a new management company and with a lack of footfall, tenants are struggling. But my home city of Doncaster has so many assets which are not used to create the business and footfall that they should. There are only 3 mansion houses in the country, London, York and Doncaster. Why is our mansion house in Doncaster not open all year round? Why has the Grand Theatre been left to rot? Why do we not have free parking to encourage people to come to town? Why do we not put weekly events on and advertise them to get people into our towns? Open business hubs and career fairs. Give people a reason to come to our towns. This will get the markets thriving again, in turn get the shops reopening. We could do all these things, and while we rejuvenate our towns and cities, the capitalists, the wealth creators out there will continue to develop the green technologies which will eventually increase the efficiency of our petrol cars and reduce the cost of electric vehicles. That is the way to do this. The way forward to clean air can be, should be, win-win, not lose-lose. Win-win. But no. The Labour Party will always go for the tax lever, price everyone out of their towns and cities, and sit by and watch the demise from home while on Zoom calls in their echo chambers and blame the internet and central government for their business closures. I have no doubt these schemes will achieve the respiratory health benefits for individuals, but not because the air is cleaner in the cities. No, simply because people will be staying out of them, staying at home, often in isolation, while their mental health suffers, whilst the economy struggles to survive. There are many other ways to tackle this problem, but as usual, the Labour Party will go for the tax lever rather than the innovation lever. And as always, the working person will suffer. I want cleaner air. I agree with net zero. 55 years in Doncaster, 55 years of Labour Council in Doncaster, 55 long, long years. I agree with net zero. I just think it can be done a better way than this. People want more power locally, but sadly too often it is given to the wrong people. The cities I mentioned are testimony to this statement. These schemes show how out of touch and disconnected politicians at local level are from the people and from businesses. The people and businesses who do not want them, but the politicians willfully ignore them on purpose and with no care of the terrible impact it has. This cannot be acceptable in a democracy. So I close now and simply ask the Minister to seriously look at the petition's request. They make an awful lot of sense.